Hello everyone, welcome to the second part of the series Redux tutorials of the React.js JavaScript coding library. And today over here we are looking more into the store and the data flow of the Redux library. Okay, so let's get started. And over here, first of all, let's begin with the data flow part. You know that the Redux flows a unidirectional data flow, which means a direction in a unique, not in a unique way, means only in a single way from the top to bottom. Okay, that is the way in which the data flows. It means that your application data will follow in one way binding data flow. As the application grows and becomes complex, it is hard to reproduce issues and add new features if you have no control over the state of your application, which means that as the application grows and becomes complex, the main problem with the React.js applications is that as they are becoming more and more complex and becoming more and more bigger, it is very hard to maintain the state part. Okay, in this condition, as it is becoming more and grows and becomes more complex, if we don't have control over the state of your application, it becomes very hard to manage the issues and add new features. So to avoid that, we are reducing the complexity by enforcing a restriction. I will tell you more how we are enforcing the restriction. Redux reduces the complexity of the code by enforcing the restriction on how and when state update can happen. So, how and when the state restriction can happen, not by doing that, by applying a restriction on them. Okay, in this way, managing updated and states is easy. Okay, in this way, if we apply some restriction on them, managing the updated states is very easy. We already know that the restrictions are three principles of the Redux. Applying restriction is one of the three principles of the Redux. I told you in the last class. If you haven't seen my last class, please go and watch it. It is available in the playlist. An action is dispatched when a user interacts with the application. Okay. In the last class also I told you that an action is dispatched when a user is interacted with the application. So, and that is coming under the restriction part, and we will look into that. A root reducer function is called with the current state and the dispatched action. With the current state and the dispatched action, a root reducer function is called. With the current state, on the current state, which means the values, something may be boolean values there, a list is there, and then int value is there, and the dispatched action, a reducer function is called. The root reducer may divide the task among smaller reducer functions which ultimately returns a new state. The root reducer may divide the task among smaller reducer functions which ultimately returns a new state. By reducing the reducer, or by dividing the reducer a smaller reducer function which ultimately returns a new state, and the store notifies the view by executing their callback functions. The store notifies the view by executing their callback functions. Now the view is being notified by the store by the execution of the callback functions. Okay. The view can then retrieve the updated state and re-render again. The view can then return the updated state and re-render again. So let's do one thing. I can start from here from bottom to up in a reverse way. First of all, the last step is re-rendering, and before that the view can render the updated state. The updated state is rendered retrieved by the view, and then the view is being notified by the store about the execution of the callback functions. The root reducer function is called with the current state and dispatched action. Before that, the reducer is divided into smaller reducer function which ultimately returns a new state. Okay, then before that, the root reducer function is called with the current state and the dispatched action. An action is dispatched when a user interacts with the application. When the user interacts with the application, nothing is happening here. When the user just interacts with the application, an action is being dispatched. Okay. Then we are speaking about how the state updation can happen. And before that, we are also enforcing some restriction on them so that the complexity of the code is reduced. Okay, so in this way, this mainly happening here from the view. An event occurs, then to the action, then directly goes to the dispatcher over here. And the user interacts with the application. Action is occurrent, it is passed to a dispatcher, and then it is passed to the reducer. And over here in the reducer, something restrictions are occurring over here, and then it is passed to the state, and it is not okay, again it is passed, and like that it keeps on going. I told you it is being divided over here. The division is occurring again and again. Then a new state is being created and passed to the view and re-rendered again. Okay, then coming to the store. A store is an immutable object tree in the Redux. I told in the last class. Okay, Redux can only have a single store in an application. That is an important part. A Redux can have only a single store in your application. Whenever a store is created in the Redux, you need to specify the reducer. Whenever a store is created in the Redux, the reducer, he also must be notified or specified. Now let us see how we can create a store using the create store method from the Redux. Okay, to create a store from the create store, what you have to do is you have to give this code. First of all, you have to import this specific code over here. Import create store from Redux, and also you have to import reducer from the reducer library. Reducer from the reducer library. Then you have to create the store. It is a constant store and it cannot be changed because it is an immutable. And you give like this create store of reducer. It can have three arguments. This is the following syntax of it. Three arguments: reducer, preload state, enhancer. Reducer is the function that returns the next state of the preloader state is the optional argument, and it is the initial state of your app. And the enhancer is also an optional argument which is not necessarily needed over here, and it will help you enhance all third-party capabilities. Okay, store dot get state. To get the current state, we use the store dot get state, and to dispatch it, we need this one. Type items request. Okay, to dispatch it, we need to give the type. Then for the subscription, we have to give this code. It will help you register a callback that the Redux store will call an action has been dispatched. As soon as the Redux state has been updated, the view will be re-rendered. It is mainly the step before the re-rendering of the view. Okay, here a callback is being given to the Redux store that an action has been dispatched. Okay, store.getState. This will give a second comparing to this uh, get state. Okay, this console.log will give another get state that is being happening over here. And to give an unsubscribe, we will be giving this code over here with a small function, mainly to console.log only, to give what to get what is the current state over here, and we'll be giving unsubscribe over here so that it is unsubscribed to stop the listener from subscribing to the view, because already the view has been re-rendered automatically, so that we don't want to waste any memory over here. So okay guys, I hope you like this code and my tutorial. So if you want, I will provide a detailed slideshow of this code and this tutorial. So if you want, please push down your comments in the comment section and ask me for more notes of this, and I will help you. And if you have any suggestions for my video, please push it down. And overall, thank you guys for spending some time with me. Thank you.